In the bustling heart of the city, where glittering skyscrapers stood like guardians of wealth and power, there was a grand five-star restaurant famous for its elegance, celebrity clients, and reputation for perfection. Yet behind its golden doors, away from the laughter of the elite and the sound of clinking glasses, existed a hidden world of struggle, a world most guests never even imagined. And it was into this world that Richard Hayes, the CEO of the restaurant chain, stepped one cold winter morning, disguised not as the owner but as an ordinary kitchen helper in a simple uniform, his expensive suit replaced with a cheap apron, his polished shoes traded for worn-out sneakers, his identity hidden under a cap and fake glasses, for Richard had grown tired of reports and statistics on paper and wanted to see the truth with his own eyes, to feel the heartbeat of his business where it truly mattered, in the backrooms, the kitchens, and the dishwashing stations. And so he became Rick, a nameless worker blending in with the crowd of staff, nobody suspecting the billionaire CEO was among them. As the day began and the restaurant filled with guests, Rick found himself scrubbing pans, carrying trays, and wiping sweat from his forehead as steam and the clang of dishes surrounded him. But as he worked, one face caught his attention, a young man, barely in his early 20s, with tired eyes and blistered hands, moving with relentless speed between the sinks and the piles of dirty plates that seemed to never end. And what struck Rick was not just the young man's exhaustion but the fact that he had been there when Rick arrived before dawn and was still there when night fell, his body swaying with fatigue but his determination unbroken. His name was Daniel, and while most staff complained, Daniel stayed silent, his lips pressed in a straight line, working as though his very life depended on it. And Rick noticed something odd. Daniel never seemed to clock out. He worked double shifts but there was no sign of him leaving, no paycheck envelope handed to him at the end of the week like others, and whispers among a few workers hinted that Daniel hadn't been paid properly for months, yet he continued to show up, too afraid to lose the only job he had. And when Rick finally asked him casually, pretending to be just another dishwasher, Daniel forced a tired smile and said, "Some things are more important than sleep or money. I just need this job." And though he tried to hide the pain, Rick could see the truth in his trembling hands and sunken cheeks. That night, Rick went home to his luxury penthouse, unable to sleep as Daniel's weary face haunted him, and he began digging into company files, questioning managers undercover, and what he discovered shook him. Daniel was officially listed as a part-time trainee, not a full-time worker, which meant the system showed he didn't deserve overtime or benefits, but the records were manipulated, hours erased, signatures forged. And higher management looked the other way to save money while exploiting desperate workers like Daniel. The more Rick uncovered, the more he realized that the empire he had built with pride was not only a palace of dreams but also a shadow of exploitation where loyal workers were treated like invisible cogs, and Daniel was just one of many. Yet his spirit, his quiet strength, his refusal to give up despite being cheated, stirred something deep in Rick, something more powerful than profit, margins, or corporate image. It was humanity calling him to action. And he knew then that this was bigger than a business checkup. This was a test of leadership, of conscience, of whether he would be the kind of man who turned away from suffering or the one who stood up for justice. So he decided to stay undercover longer, to get closer to Daniel, to learn his story fully, for behind those tired eyes Rick sensed a truth waiting to be revealed, a secret that could change everything not only for Daniel but for the entire company, and perhaps even for Rick himself. And as the chapter closed on that long night, Rick whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning, and if you, dear listener, want to know what shocking truth he will uncover about Daniel's life, what battles will be fought, and how this undercover mission will turn the entire company upside down, then stay with us, don't miss chapter 2, and make sure you subscribe right now so you never lose track of this powerful journey, because what's coming next will leave you speechless and inspired forever."